Hi there, welcome back to my channel Scrap and Coffee. I'm here with the first project in a new series that I'm going to start, that I'm going to call my Espresso project. And with series I basically just mean it's going to be a playlist where all these projects will be listed. And Espresso projects are small projects that come together really quick. They are perfect for gifting. It will take you like a morning or an afternoon of crafting and then you have a finished project. So for the Espresso project I will do a quick project share and then the tutorial will follow right away in the same video. So this is the first project and this is what I call my purse folio. And if you're in my Facebook group, then you might recognize this one because we did it there. I do small projects there every month, and I decided to do some of my favorites on YouTube as well. So they're not all of them are going to be on here, but some of them will be. So this is the purse folio, and it's just a small quick folio. And I made two versions, and for these I've used the two newest releases from Nitwit collection. So these are digital collections. On one I've used their most recent, which is the Melodious collection, full of musical notes, musical instruments, but also some beautiful flowers. You can make this more of a masculine project if you want to with this collection. And for the other one, this is the Bouquet of Wishes collection, and here I went really bold and feminine with a beautiful cranberry pink color. So I will show you both because I've changed them up slightly more in with using acetate and that sort of stuff, and also how I've decorated it. So both of these collections will be linked down below in the description box if you are interested in one of them, so you can find it on the website of Nitwit collections. So let's start with this one because this is the most simple version, and this is also the one that I'm going to show you in the tutorial. So this is done with the Melodious collection, like I said, with a lot of musical notes, instruments, navy blue, a gold color, but there's also teal blue in here. Yeah, really nice color combinations that you can find in here. Yeah, so I've used one of their, I always call it a button, but that's not the actual name of it. That says Perfect Harmony on here, and the closure is magnetized. And I wasn't going to use any of the flower pattern, but I just ended up doing it anyway. So simple cover here, and then we can open it up, and I think I need to zoom out slightly to get it all in frame. Okay, that will be a little bit better. So here I've made a photo opportunity, in this case for a cropped photo, or you can print it for what is it, a 3.5 by 5.25 or something like that. And then a little embellishment there, and we can flip this open. And then I have a small pocket here. I have a journal card from the collection that's keeping the small flaps here closed. And then you have photo opportunity here on the inside, and then you can fit a full-size photo in here. Let me get a full-size photo mat quickly. Just grab one from the other one because I didn't do any photo mats in this one. So you can fit a full-size photo with a background mat in here and then add maybe one or two other things, but I would do, I think, 2 photos or something in the pocket and then one more to keep it all in place. Or you can magnetize it, of course, you can play with that. So that's right there. Let's keep this photo mat close by. Then we have a small side pocket here with, again, this is a journal card from the collection. And let me close this. And you can add more in here, of course, small photos. And then here I've done pattern paper with a belly band where you can place a small photo underneath or something. And then in the middle we have 2 small pockets here up front, angle pockets, but I've matted it as one whole pocket. And then in the collection I could find these Polaroid frames, so I thought they were fun to use in there. And then again behind that a large pocket where you can fit full-size photo if you want to, maybe even 2. So I really like this paper, and it gives it a little bit of a vintage feel. And I went for a combination of the navy blue with the gold, actually, that you can also find in here. But as you can see on the flowers, there's also like a really beautiful teal color in there. And then here at the bottom we have a lot of flaps for a lot of photo opportunities. So in this one I really went for the photo opportunity. Didn't play around too much with pattern paper, but just photos. And then there is a little tuck space here where you can fit some smaller stuff in if you want to. This I did with the pattern paper, so it's you will see in the other one that doesn't have a tuck space there. So that I just did with the pattern paper. So, and that's actually it. So just a really quick small folio. Like I said, it's a quick project. That's the whole idea. So this is the plain version that I'm going to show in the tutorial, and then with the Bouquet of Wishes I've made another version where I've used some acetate. So I'm not going to show you that in the tutorial, but I have a lot of tutorials on my channel where I do show you how to use acetate. And the Bouquet of Wishes is an utterly gorgeous collection. Beautiful pinks, but you can also go a little less feminine where you can use the green or the cream color. So you don't have to go as bold on the pink as I did here. And I used again a sort of button out of the collection that says for you. So this could be a really nice small gift. And this collection is like, if you're a card maker, then this is really a collection for you, because it says Bouquet of Wishes, and that's really what it is. You can use it for congratulations, for happy birthday wishes, for getting well, there are so many opportunities in this collection to use. Yeah, and like I said, it's just gorgeous with all the color combinations. I loved it. So I kept the front again really plain. Then when we open it, I've made a belly band here. And for some small photos, you can fit a full-size photo behind here if you want to, but I found it more playful to put some smaller stuff behind there. So I can fit this full-size photo here if I want to. I used another button there to decorate that a little bit more. And then I can open it. So we have the same features in here. I just used some more. I've played around with the pattern paper a lot more. I've layered a lot. So like here, normally I don't do that. So this one is really bulky. But here I've backed it with a solid of the cranberry pink. And then put some pattern paper on top of that. And also for the photo mat. First some cranberry pink and then the photo on top of it. So it's a lot more chunky than the other one. And you can do it, but you have to be a little bit careful. So here I have that full-size photo, a lovely writing on the pattern paper there. And then here again that journal card from the collection, and you can also do a photo on the back if you want to, or put a photo there. But I think it's also nice to do some journaling here and there. So then that side pocket again. So here I have the acetate U-shaped window in here. Some small photos, another journal card, really lovely, this one with a butterfly, that really bold pink. So I love how that all combines, also with that black and gray, really combines pretty. And then on the inside here I did a designated area for a photo. So again, I've layered here, what I don't often do, but I did it in these projects. One of the bouquets of flowers there. This one is a newspaper wrap. You will see I have another one with a black and white wrap. You have a pink wrap. There are so many opportunities. Then I have some small photos here in these pockets, which I've placed in the other direction where the angle goes towards the center. And then some acetate in there again. So, and that beautiful flower pattern behind it. So here was my full-size photo that I've used for the other one. So I can place that in here and my small photos in those pockets. Good, come on. And then here I just made a playful acetate window in this flap, but it has no function at all. It's just for looking pretty. And this is a 4x4 out of the collection that I've put behind it. And then a nice frame around it. And then on the back I did solid with a photo opportunity, another bouquet of flowers there, beautiful flower pattern here, and then photo opportunity. I can place another photo here. I haven't done that yet because I didn't decide on do I want to have a full-size photo or a smaller photo. And then more photo here, beautiful butterfly from the collection. And here I just did pattern paper, nothing more. I just enjoyed that flower paper very much, so I just left it like it is. I could do a belly band or something, but because I did a lot of the layering, I need to keep the bulk in mind a little bit. So that is this version with the beautiful Bouquet of Wishes. So I can close all of this up. I really think this is a really fun project to make. The tutorial will be right after this. So if you want to make it, you can follow that tutorial. And of course the cutting guide is a free PDF download on my website. Again, the link is down below in the description box. towards that as well. So I hope you will enjoy it, and I hope you will make one or a few of these cute folios that are perfect for gifting. So let's go to the tutorial. Okay, so let's put together this quick but really fun folio. It's like I don't know, envelope folio, purse folio, I'm not sure. But we're going to start with our piece A. So there are several score lines on piece A, and I've placed some tape. So what I did is, here you have a score line with a gusset area in between it, and then here is only one score line, and that is where you want to have your tape on the outer half inches only. And this is the dented side of the piece. And this is the only part of that half inch on the outside that we actually need. So I'm going to cut with a small angle from the part where the tape is. I'm going to angle towards my intersection of score lines there. Just like that. And I will do the same thing on this side. I'm going to turn it over to the bumpy side. I find that easiest. And I'm going to lift up that long part of that half inch that I'm not going to use. And I like to do this with a ruler and a knife. You can do this with scissors as well if you prefer, but I'm just going to use this real quick. And I'm going to cut along that score line. I'm cutting the score line away up to the point where we've tapered. So all of that is gone. And I will do the same thing here, only here I'm going to start at the taper, basically, because I like to cut on this side. There we go. That can go away. And now we can fold and burnish on all our score lines towards the bumpy side. And the last two are attachment flaps, basically. Okay, so it's gonna lie in front of us like this, with our flaps on the bottom. And then we have our pieces B. I totally messed up my pile here. Everything was in order, but it no longer is. So here we have piece B, and then later on we will need piece C and D. Okay. Okay, for piece B, again we have several score lines. So you want to score it in a particular way, where when you look at the dented side, you have a 1 inch part on the bottom and then 2 score lines on your left hand side. And I've placed tape on the outer 3/4 inch part between the cut edge and the first score line. And again we are going to cut out these two parts here at the bottom. So you have two rectangles there. We are going to cut it away. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut where the tape is with an angle towards my first intersection. Then I'm going to cut up straight where I cut away the score line here as well to the second intersection. So yeah, that's probably really hard to see. And then here I'm going to cut straight. So I'm just going to cut away both score lines. So on just next to the score line, I'm going to cut straight up. There we go. So this is basically what I've cut out. And then we can fold again towards the bumpy side of our score lines. And I'm going to open that one back up. And the other one. Okay, now while we are folded on our first score line here, so I only have the 3/4 inch part on the bottom and my gusset area is here on top. I'm going to get piece A back in where my flaps are on the bottom, and piece B is going to be attached in our middle part. Now the cutting guide says to cut it just a hair under, I believe it's 5.5. That is so your piece is going to fit in between your score lines here. So this score line and your first score line there. You want to be sure that both score lines are visible. So I'm going to remove the tape backing a little bit. And this is a little bit hard because your basically all your flaps are a little bit in the way, but I'm going to make sure that I'm just above that score line. Line it up with the edge, and you really want to make sure that you are really close to the edge. Don't go in too far because then it all won't work. So I rather hang over a little bit than go in a little bit. Okay, burnish that down. This flap you will glue it down once you have your pattern paper here. You will put some wet glue on the edges and stick that down. So you make a pocket out of this. Okay, then we have our pieces C and D. We are going to attach those together first before we do anything into the base piece. So piece C has two score lines with a 1/8 inch gusset, and again your tapes on the dented side between the cut edge and your first score line. I didn't taper that, no. I was looking at it, did I taper that? But I didn't. So here we are going to taper the 3/4 inch part. Make sure that your gusset area is staying straight. And then we can fold and burnish both those score lines. And I'm going to place it down where the gusset area is underneath the piece. And then we have piece D, that's going to form a pocket. So you have score lines on 3 sides. Tape on the dented side between the cut edge and your score line, and where your score lines meet, that's where we're gonna miter. So with about a 45-degree angle, I'm going to cut, but you can do this in any way you prefer to do this. And then again, fold and burnish your score lines. Make sure your flaps are not overlapping here at the back. At least when you do it like I'm doing it. Okay, now piece C is coming back in, and my folded edge is here on the right hand side. The gusset is underneath the piece, so I might re-burnish that. And then the bottom of the pocket, piece D, is going to align with your folded edge there. And you line it on 3 sides. Here we go, stick that down, and then I need to remove the tape from the sides. If you want to, you can place a little bit of tape here to have your photo mats or whatever it is that you want to put in the pocket go in a little bit easier if you don't place your pattern paper all the way down. Okay, and then this piece will go onto our base piece, again in the middle on the opposite side of piece B. So now we need to fold on our other score line and do the same thing. We are going to align it now on the left, on the left hand side. I think I said something wrong earlier about left or right, and again make sure that you fit in between your score lines. I'm actually really terrible at left and right, so it's a challenge for me to say it right every single time. So it probably won't be the first time that I didn't say it right. I had that ever since I was a kid. I'm always struggling with that. Okay, so stick it down, burnish it, and reinforce that gusset there. So maybe what I can do is, do I have a paper clip close by? Put a paper clip here for now until I have my pattern paper. But always be careful with paper clips, they might damage your cardstock a little bit. Okay, open all of this up. Now we are going to fold in our flaps here at the bottom piece and stick that down right to the middle. That's why it's important that these flaps are not too far in when you attach them. And of course you can attach them on the back, but I don't like how it closes up when you will see a little gap here on top. That's why I'm doing it like this. So I'm just bringing it up Oh, just bent that corner there, so I might use a corner punch on that. Okay, so this is what we have now. Then we are going to go to piece E. Piece E has again 2 score lines. You have a little gusset area there, and your tape is on the bumpy side this time, so between the cut edge and your first score line. And again, just from that first score line, I'm going to taper that 1/2 inch part. And then I'm going to fold and burnish towards the bumpy side of both score lines. Okay, the tape is ending up on the inside now. We are going to attach this 1/2 inch underneath here, underneath the pocket. So when you attach it, you want to line up the sides and you want to go up to your first score line where you are still able to see that score line. So I like to turn it, and I'm just going to remove all the tape back, and you can do this however you prefer to do this. Make it flat and just be brave a little bit. I'm just trying to hold it flat with my fingers a little bit, and I'm placing one side down and then bring it along that score line and drop it. Okay, so that is attached as well. E, so now we have our pieces F. Those are 2 pockets, and we are going to angle the pockets if you want to. I like how that gives a little bit of a playful view in your folio. So I'm going to place the 2 pockets next to each other. I'm going to mirror the angles. So I'm getting myself a ruler and a pencil. So you have 3 score lines, and the score line is on the bottom, no score line on the top. On the top cut edge, I'm going to measure from, in this case, the left hand side, 1.5 inches inwards. So from the cut edge inwards 1.5 inches, and then I'm going to measure on my score line here on the right hand side. I am going to measure from the bottom 1 3/4. So I measure from the bottom cut edge on my score line here 1 3/4, and then I will connect those pencil marks, and we are going to cut that angle, and you can do that with the scissors or with a paper trimmer. So I will do the same thing here, but then I will start measuring on the other side on the top edge. So that's 1.5 from the cut edge, and then here on my score line I am gonna go 1 3/4. So that's 3/4, 1, yeah. And again, align those tick marks to make that cut. So I'm just going to use my scissors now. It's a little bit quicker, and we want it to be a quick project. So, but I'm never as straight with my scissors as I am with my paper trimmer, basically. Okay, there we go. And then what we're also going to do is miter our corners. So there's not much left here in a minute. So if you want to do that differently, you can do that differently. And then I will also taper that 1/2 inch here. And yeah, you don't have to go exactly to the score line, just it's hiding construction again. So let's do the same thing on this one. And then we can fold and burnish. So as you would have seen in the project chair, there are some options for acetate if you want to. So I'm not showing you the acetate in the tutorial, but I did put it in the cutting guide. Like in these I've made a 1/2 inch frame because with 5/8 of an inch there would not be much left for a window. So yeah, you would do that first, right? So I'm going to get these pockets, open everything up, and we are basically going to place them on top of the pocket that we've created here. And I'm going to do it like this, but you can also do it like this. Maybe I want to change it up. What did I do in this one? I don't remember. Oh yeah, let's change it up in this one, just to show you the difference. So So I'm just going to start with one. Don't forget to remove any pencil marks that you might need to remove. And I'm going to line up my bottom corner here with the corner of the pocket here. And really try to align it because it's going to fit on there quite exactly. Just bring it up. And then the other one, when we bump it up against it, it should fit exactly on the pocket. But I suggest you bump it up against the pocket. If you have a little gap there, I think that's less annoying than when you have a gap in the middle. So that's where I'm going to start with my placement as well. I can also do it like that and then just stick the bottom down. And then we have our pockets here, so for some smaller stuff. So you can fit full-size photos in here and smaller stuff. Okay, those were our pieces F, and then we have our pieces G. So here I have changed it up a little bit with what I did in my Facebook group, because in the Facebook group the piece was an inch shorter, where you had room for a full-size photo and a 3x4, and this is for a full-size photo and a 4x4. So you can easily change that up if you want to. If you want to do it for 3x4s, you just cut the piece an inch shorter on this side here. So 2 score lines, tape is on the dented side in between your score lines, and we are just going to fold and burnish on both score lines. And you do the same thing on both pieces. Okay, so it doesn't matter on which, well, that's what I'm saying, but it does matter depending on how you want to do this. So here I had the, yep. So you can decide on how you want to have this, but for one, you might want to have the long part on top, because I don't think it will fit if you do both of them on the bottom. Yeah, I don't think it will fit. So I'm going to do on my left hand side the longer flap on top. So my short side and my tape is on the bottom. And I'm going to align my folded edge with the cut edge of the base piece. And I'm going to align it with the bottom cut edge. So in this case we have about 1/8 of an inch space between the cut edge of our piece and the score line. And that's going to help with closing the piece once everything is in here with your pattern paper. So now I want to have on this side my short side on top. So I'm going to fold where the long part and the tape is on the bottom. And what you also want to do is, because if I'm going to place it like this, where this is also on the outside, that's not going to work. You don't fit, you see? So you need to place this one down. Well, it doesn't really matter for attaching, but when you are going to close everything later on. And then I'm going to align it here on the right hand side. So I basically do the same thing. Align it with the bottom cut edge and with the right cut edge. And burnish it. So when you close this, you want to have this one closed first, the short one, then the long one here, then the long one there, and then the short one. Or you can also do this in that way, but that doesn't really matter, however you like that. Okay, and then our final pieces already are our pieces H, which are 2 small flaps that we are going to place here if you want them. So no need for tapering, just your tape is on the dented side, just fold on your score line, and we are going to attach these flaps along that top cut edge where we even out the space a little bit. So I think about 1/4 inch from your score line and 1/4 inch, maybe a little less than 1/4 inch. And just make sure that you also have a little bit of space in between your flaps. So just eyeball that for yourself. Get an idea. I think I'm going to make a little tick mark that I'm going to place it there. And then I will just put it there. align it, and stick it. And then this one I will eyeball. I will just even out that space. Yep. So I have about a 1/16 inch space in between my flaps. Okay, so we can put something in this pocket later on to keep these flaps down. No need for magnets. If you want to, you can use magnets, of course. But okay, so now once we want to close this, we are going to place this flap down, which is our piece C and D. Then this will go on top, and I think I'm going to be in trouble with the... We'll see how it works. Piece B on top, and then our bottom flap over it. And then the top flap will go down, and that is your folio. So easy peasy, time to decorate. So yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy these fun, small, quick projects, and there will be more coming up, so keep your eyes open for it. Thank you for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye bye.